Look at this price chart. If you're a gold trader, this is probably feels familiar. You've got a Fibonacci retracement from this low to that high, another one from a smaller swing inside it, and maybe even a third one just for a good measure. It turns into a mess pretty fast. It gets confusing, and eventually most traders just abandon Fibonacci because they don't really know where to start and which levels are actually matter. Is it the 38.2%, the 61.8%, or is it all just extra clutter that makes you hesitate on every entry? Some traders will tell you it doesn't work. The truth is simpler. You're just not using it correctly. Today, we're going to clean up that fake fog. We'll strip everything back and focus only on 3 levels that actually matter in gold. I'll show you exactly how to draw it and, more importantly, how to execute trades and manage risk without overthinking every step. Alright, let's start with a clean chart. To use this approach, we're working with the Fibonacci retracement tool, and it only needs 2 points. First, the anchor point where the move began. Second, the end point where the price starts to pull back. One click at the bottom, one click at the top. That's it. Nothing complicated here. But once you apply it, you'll notice all the default levels appear again. And that's where the problem starts. You're right back into the clutter. The professional approach is simple. Remove the noise. Most of these levels don't help you. They just create hesitation and overtrading. For this specific institutional style method, you go into the settings and keep only 4 levels. 0, 38.2%, 100%, and the 161.8%. Now look at the chart after that. It's completely different. It feels cleaner, more readable, and instead of staring at 10 different possibilities, you now have a clear reaction zone and a defined extension target. With the chart cleaned up, the next thing we focus on is the most important rule: trend structure. Price doesn't move in straight lines. It expands, then contracts. In trading terms, these are waves. When price moves aggressively in one direction, that's an impulse wave. That's where institutional expansions happens. When price pulls back and pauses, that's a correction wave. The entire idea here is to catch the end of that correction and position for the next impulse. To do that, you need to understand swings. In an uptrend, you'll see swing highs and swing lows, then higher lows and higher highs. In a downtrend, it flips, lower lows and lower highs. Once you train your eyes to read this structure, you don't need indicators telling you direction. You see just a staircase in price. Now, identifying swings manually can be difficult at first, so there's a simple cheat code. Using 2 moving averages. The 300 SMA and the 100 EMA. This just helps confirm trend direction. In a downtrend, the 100 EMA sits below the 300 SMA and price trades below both. That tells you sellers are in control. In an uptrend, it's the opposite. The 100 EMA is above the 300 SMA and price stays above both. If those conditions aren't there, you stay out. You only apply Fibonacci when the trend is clean and aligned. Let's apply this on the gold 5-minute chart, which is a high liquidity scalping time frame. First step is always trend check. Price is holding above the moving averages, so you're only looking for buys. But remember, even in a strong trend, price doesn't move straight. It moves, then it pauses. That pause is where we work. Here's how you draw it. Select the Fibonacci tool. Point A is the peak of the recent moving at the start of the correction. Point B is the current low of the pullback. Now the question becomes, how do you actually know when that correction is finished. Here's the logic. If the next move has enough strength to push back above the 38.2% level of the previous move, that's a sign of institutional strength. It means buyers have regained control and momentum is shifting back in their favor. So when a candle closes above that 38.2% level, that's the signal. The correction is over. The next impulse has likely started. That's your entry on the breakout of that level. Now let's get into exits. This isn't about randomly using Fibonacci ratio, it's about a structure and risk management. Your stop loss goes below the 0% level, not because it's a Fib number, but because that's the most recent swing low in the structure. If price breaks that level, the entire idea of the trade is invalid. For target, the logic stays structural. The first target is the 100% level. That's the previous swing high where price originally reacted, so it makes sense as the first area where price can pause again and where partial profits can be taken. And for runners, the extended target is the 161.8% level. That's where the momentum typically starts to exhaust. Every level has a purpose. You're not trading lines, you're trading a structure. Now the question most traders struggle with: how do you actually know where the correction ends? Because without that, you can't even place your Fibonacci correctly. Let's break it down using a downward example. Price pulls back toward moving averages, forming a correction wave. But inside that move, you'll see multiple smaller highs. The question is, which one matters? Here's the key trade genius idea and live conditions. You don't guess the top. You start by placing your first point at the beginning of the correction, and for the second point, you mark the most recent swing high. Then you wait. If price breaks below the 38.2% level from that structure, it confirms that your second point was correctly placed and the sell setup is valid. And if it doesn't break, if price pushes higher and forms a new swing instead, you don't force anything. You simply adjust the second Fibonacci point to the new high. You keep updating it as long as the structure evolves. The only time you act is when price finally shows weakness by breaking back below the 38.2% level. That way, you're never predicting the top of the correction. You're letting the market confirm it first.